As chair of the Gwinnett County Board of Education, I hereby call to order the July 17th, 2025 business meeting of the board. I extend a warm welcome to everyone present for tonight's meeting. The board, Dr. Taylor, and I are pleased that you have joined us as we celebrate achievements, review information, and make policy decisions related to the effective operation of Gwinnett County Public Schools. Before we begin, I'd like to draw your attention to the screen on my left, where you'll see the school board's core beliefs and commitments. Beginning in August, our core beliefs and commitments will be on display during our business school board meetings. These statements aren't just words. They reflect the guiding principles that shape every decision we make and every goal we set. They serve as a compass for our district, reminding us of our shared responsibility to foster a learning environment where every student can thrive. I encourage you to take a moment to read them carefully, as they are central to the work we do together as educators, leaders, and community members. The board meeting began at 2 p.m. The board meeting at 2 p.m. for our monthly work session. During work sessions, we hear reports on student achievement, school operations, and system-wide initiatives. We may also discuss items that the board will be acting upon in tonight's business meeting. Please visit our board agenda online next week to see any of the detailed reports from the work session. The monthly business meetings of the board are open to the public. We are grateful for the number of people interested in our schools who are in attendance tonight. This business meeting is when the board conducts its business of governing the school system in a public arena. The business meetings are not meetings with the public. Therefore, comments from the audience will be confined to the time designated for citizens to address the board according to policy BCBI. Speakers are encouraged to maintain appropriate meeting decorum, follow appropriate protocols, protect the confidentiality of students, prevent defamatory statements, and ensure the impartiality of the board. The board requests that speakers not directly speak about individual students, parents, or staff members. Thank you for embracing these qualities and modeling them for our children and our community during tonight's meeting. Please silence your cell phones or communication devices before we begin our proceedings. I would like to call to the podium Pastor Andy Lett from the Fountain Church to lead us into a moment of reflection, followed by the Berkmar High School Army JROTC under the leadership of Captain Orlando Farrell, U.S. Army, retired, and Sergeant Major Ray Daniels, U.S. Army retired, who will present the colors and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening, Chair Dr. Simmons, board members, and Dr. Taylor. I want to invite everyone to stand at this time for the moment of reflection. As was stated, my name is Pastor Andy Lett. I'm the lead pastor of the Fountain Church in Suwanee, and I bring you well wishes and greetings on behalf of our congregation at the Fountain Church. Thank you for asking me to be a part of tonight's meeting. As we come together, may we demonstrate wisdom, integrity, respect, and grace in our interactions with each other. Let us acknowledge the many good things around us and ways that we can be a blessing to others. Thank you to those in the audience who lend their leadership and service to our schools and community. We also extend appreciation to the many different people, our families, our teachers, and others in the community who support public education and our community. Finally, let us keep the children of Gwinnett County in mind as we speak, act, and make decisions tonight. With that in mind, I ask you to join me now in a moment of silence for personal reflection about our students, our school district, and our greater community. Thank you. I ask that you remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Carry colors. Right face. Forward march. Mark time, march. Colors, hold. Left face. Present arms.
Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Right face. Forward march.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Pastor Lett and Berkmar High School Army, JROTC, for being part of this meeting. We move next to students' public comments. Students addressing the board, you will notice two side podiums. Please come to the podium closest to where you are sitting. At this time, Jasmine Caballero, please approach the podium, and Owen Hutchings, you are on deck at the other podium. You are allotted a maximum of 3 minutes for comments.
Good evening. My name is Jasmine Caballero, and I will be returning to Ivory Creek Elementary for my last year there as a 5th grader. Next year, some of my favorite people in the world will be attending, my brother Jackson and my sister Jordan. It will be the only year I have all my siblings in the same school. I would love to have my brother and sister feel safe. I was just thinking about it. Why do I have to ask for safety? I should have the right to feel safe at my school. We are ranked 9th within Gwinnett District for school population. I shouldn't feel afraid to walk into my school and think there's a possible chance someone will walk in with a gun. That just sounds crazy if you think about it. Ivy Creek will be a good example for all the other schools that need weapon detectors. It would make me so happy if my school got weapon detectors. Installing weapon detectors in our school would bring a great deal of safety due to the fact that it will stop weapons. There's only one problem here. I can't do this on my own. Let's face the facts. I'm 10 years old, currently making $7 a week for doing all my chores. And at that rate, it's going to take me 274 years to make this happen. I don't have that kind of time, people. I need help from my principal, Miss Peak. I need help from all the teachers in my school. I need all the parents to stand up and speak out. They don't want to see any more kids get murdered at school. And I need help from everybody in here to agree that guns have no place in my school. Weapon detectors can make this happen. I do want to thank you for installing weapon detectors in high school and middle school of Gwinnett County. And that made me feel happy, but do you know what made me feel even more happier? Getting weapon detectors in elementary school. Thank you. I really need your help.
Owen Hutchings, followed by Lucas Hutchings.
I just wanted to say thank you for letting Theo back into his home school, Sugar Hill Elementary.
Our schools should be more inclusive, making sure everyone is included. It is personal to me because when Theo was kicked out, it hurt my whole family. It made me sad that I didn't see inclusion in our schools. I want to thank you guys for bringing Theo back into Sugar Hill Elementary, but we are not done yet. There are still so many kids who are not included in our schools today, and once we get the kids actually in their home buildings, we need to make sure they are being meaningfully included educationally and socially.
Theo Hutchings, come on up.
When I asked the kids who wanted to speak, Theo very enthusiastically said he wanted to speak too. Can you say hello?
Hello,
Can you say my name?
my name is Theo.
How old are you?
7.
Yeah. And wait, are you excited to go back to Sugar Hill?
Yeah,
Are you excited to go to school with Desmond and Quinley?
yeah,
Do you love school?
yeah.
Can you say thank you?
Okay, goodbye.
Students, thank you so much for your comments. We move next to the adoption of the agenda. Dr. Taylor, do you have any changes to the agenda?
I have no changes to the agenda.
Board members, do you have any changes to the agenda? Board members, do I have a motion regarding the agenda?
I make a motion to adopt the agenda for the July 17, 2025 business meeting.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Stone and a second by Dr. Therese. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. It is unanimous. The consent agenda allows the Board of Education to act on routine items of business as a series. Our first item on the consent agenda is 4.02, purchase orders. This is an informational item and is comprised of a monthly report that lists all purchase orders up to $2,000 or more. For each item, the following are identified: the vendor, items purchased, destination of the items, budget account, dollar amount, and method of purchase. Board members, are there any questions or comments? The action items on the consent agenda are 4.03, GA-2502, BM metal detectors, increase in spend. 4.04, new 5-year local facilities plan board resolution. 4.05, curriculum associates. 4.06, public consulting group. 4.07, GA-2602, BM, ALE maintenance support software. 4.08, B-235, 7KM, on-demand electrical services. 4.09, Acceleration Academy. 4.10, GA-2604, BM, Google Cloud for security options. 4.11, approval of minutes for a monthly board meeting held on June 26, 2025. Do I have a motion regarding the action items on the consent agenda?
I make a motion that we approve items 4.03 to 4.11 on the consent agenda.
I have a motion by Mr. Knutson. Is there a second? Second. The motion is seconded by Ms. Stone. Is there any discussion? I do have some questions I would like to ask about this consent agenda. Pertaining to 4.07, I did want to receive some insight on what the Enterprise Innovation Department is, just for additional context. I appreciate it.
Good evening, Chairperson Dr. Simmons. It's the Technology and Innovation Division. It's the Enterprise Support Services Department. That's a license renewal for our network switches. We have 144 core switches, one at each school and one at each data center. We have 7,300 plus network switches, and we have 18,000 access points. This is a renewal for the licensing for those to make sure they get software updates, security patches, all of which are crucial to ensure that we have a optimal network performance and we protect against cybersecurity threats.
Thank you so much for that context. And then one additional question around the public consulting group. If someone could talk a little bit around if and how that aligns to the WestEd audit findings. I see that it is a support for MLL students. Can you speak to the alignment with the WestEd audit findings, if that is the case?
Good evening, Chairperson Dr. Simmons, Dr. Taylor. Absolutely, I can go through a high level of some of the findings from WestEd and talk specifically about how this partnership with Public Consulting Group will be able to support those efforts. If we start with that first priority action item that was identified by WestEd, it really talked about defining the vision and aligning program policies. And there are a couple of key actions that were identified there. One was to include clear academic goals for our multilingual learners that would be embedded in our current instructional programs. And so the work that PCG will be doing is taking a look at our current instructional guidance and embedding those very specific ML supports aligned to student language proficiency levels. So it'll be highly differentiated, and that supports some of the findings in the WestEd report. Another finding from WestEd, primarily in the areas of classroom instruction, it really talked about that collaboration and strengthening that partnership between our ESOL teachers and our content area teachers. So this is thinking about, instead of having the supports provided only by the ESOL specialist or ESOL teacher that's in that building, we're now equipping our content area teachers to have those specific strategies and supports and have a really clear guidance about how they'll be able to differentiate instruction for our multilingual learners. Do you want me to go over a few more? There are a couple more as well.
Sure.
Okay. Another was really around the opportunities for continued and more integrated collaboration, really focus on ensuring that during that CLT or collaborative learning team time where our teachers are actually looking at the AKS, unpacking the AKS, looking at the goals and the targets for the lesson, that they will also be having those conversations around what are the specific supports that we need to make sure is included in this instructional guidance to ensure that our multilingual learners will have access and opportunity during that time of instruction.
Thank you so much. I continue to ask the district to highlight how we're acting on the information we received as a result of the audit, especially in light of our board's clear and keen focus on the achievement of multilingual learners. So I appreciate you taking the time to talk us through how our resource the purchases of resources are aligned with the audit findings, which are aligned with where we would like to see some academic growth. So thank you. Any other discussion?
Yes, Chair, Dr. Simmons. I have one question regarding consent agenda item 4.09 with regards to the Celebration Academy. I know during the working session we talked a lot about discipline and attendance. I see here that this program is a dropout prevention program, and I just wanted to have some light shed on the academy, and does it tie to some of the discussions that we had during the working session?
Oh, I apologize. Greetings again, Chairperson Dr. Simmons, board members, Ms. Stone. Thank you for the question. Not to read directly from the background, but just a quick overview of the Academy. Okay, so this is a dropout prevention and recovery program that we've been in partnership with now. This will be our fourth contract with the Acceleration Academy. So they provide flexible learning opportunities for students who have made the decision not to come back to Gwinnett County schools. So to be a student in Acceleration Academy, you had to previously attend a Gwinnett County public school. Okay, we then partner with them with Phoenix, all right, for students to enroll. They enroll in Acceleration Academy through enrolling through our Phoenix High School is their point of enrolling. Then they take their coursework, okay, usually at one course at a time rate at the Acceleration Academy location, which is down on Pleasant Hill Road. That's where they're located, down kind of the Mall Corners shopping area. So they're able to kind of take this at a flexible pace that kind of meets the schedule that they need with the identified courses they need to graduate. So last year, for instance, we served about 212 students in the Acceleration Academy model. Of those 212, 74 of them earned diplomas. So they do end up graduating with the GCPS diploma. So that's a little bit about it. The students who wind up there for reasons that, myriad reasons, were not able to complete their education with us the first time. This is an opportunity to provide them that second chance to get that high school diploma.
Thank you for that clarification. And I just have a follow-up question. You mentioned that this is an opportunity or an option for students who have made the decision not to return to GCPS. I think a while back we talked about, or I talked about, one of the hardest parts of my role is like permanent expulsion. So is this an option for students who are permanently, or if they are permanently expelled, or is it just for students who have made the decision not to return to GCPS and now they're a student at Phoenix?
Just to say that last part again.
Is this option available to students who may be permanently expelled, or is this option only for students who have decided not to come back to GCPS and are a Phoenix High School student?
So no, so these are for students who have made the decision to drop out for whatever reason it is. So we kind of seek the students out for Acceleration Academy from our dropout list, kids that have not returned to school. And then they're extended that opportunity to attend Acceleration Academy. That's kind of the pool of students that we pull from. Yes, ma'am. Questions?
Just have a couple of more questions about the purchase orders, just because there seems to be some recurring, I don't know if they're quotes or bids, if the district can provide some insight on the Southwestern Communications PO, as well as the IT contracts consulting POs.
Good evening again. Southwest Communications does all of our intercom upgrades. We've got about 30 more, and we'll be done with the entire district, so that's what that's for.
Are you speaking to the IT contracts consulting POs as well?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. So there's a number of those on the PO this month. Those are up against the April 17th consent agenda item for on-demand IT professional services. So as you know, we're a very large district. And so a lot of the services and support that we offer are highly customized, very nuanced. And so oftentimes we utilize professional services to fill those nuanced, unique skill sets that are required.
Thank you so much. All right, any other discussion?
I have one more regarding consent agenda item number 4.03 with the metal detectors. I just have a question around, are these, just to confirm, this purchase is for metal detectors or weapons detectors versus metal detectors?
Yeah, thank you. So these are weapon detection systems. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And I was able to see them piloted at Grayson High School a few weeks ago, and I think that it was a huge success. It did not feel like TSA. Students came through, and and I've been told that this is going to pilot high school and middle school. It did not feel like TSA. The district the conversation I've had, you all are working with or looking at what other school districts are doing and using this as an opportunity to build relationships with students. So students are greeted with familiar faces, teachers' voices. So, yep, thank you for that.
Well, no, thank you for that. Thank you for the visit. And just to echo what you said, the goal of this system is to provide as much as it can, not just that feeling of safety, but a warm welcome for kids. The intentionality of creating a real positive climate at the entry points of our buildings. So, yeah, thank you.
All right. All in favor say aye. All opposed say no. It is unanimous. We move next to interim superintendent's reports by Dr. Taylor.
Board members, you have heard the monthly human resources report this afternoon in executive session that included a list of all employees being hired, taking a leave of absence, and terminating employment. Chair Dr. Simmons, I recommend approval of the monthly human resources report.
Do I have a motion regarding the monthly human resources report?
I make a motion to approve the monthly human resources report.
I have a motion by Mr. Gasper. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Knutson. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. It is unanimous. Dr. Taylor?
Item 5.02 is the monthly financial report as of May 31st, 2025. The reports are from the financial records kept at the central office and do not include local school financial records that reflect receipts and disbursements at each school. It also includes a copy of our sales tax receipts for SPLOS 6. I recommend approval of the monthly financial report.
Do I have a motion regarding the monthly financial report?
I make a motion to approve, wow, hot, or the May 31st, 2025 monthly financial report.
I have a motion by Mr. Knutson. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Gasper. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. It is unanimous. Dr. Taylor, next item, please.
Item 5.03 on the agenda, 2022 through 2027 Building Program and Construction Report, is for your information only. This report is a listing of all construction projects funded by the 2022-2027 Building Program budget. It also provides the current status of each project as well as the scheduled completion of the project. If you would like an update on any specific project, Interim Chief of Operations Patrick Burke can give you that information.
Board members, are there any questions? Okay, we move next to student discipline. By law, matters related to student discipline appeals, expulsions, and/or petitions for readmission must be discussed in executive or closed session. Georgia law further requires board members to affirm in the public business meeting the action taken in executive session. The only items of business under student discipline is the monthly tribunal summary. Board members, do I have a motion regarding the monthly tribunal summary as presented in executive session?
I make a motion to approve the action taken in executive session regarding the monthly tribunal summary.
I have a motion by Mr. Gasper. Is there a second? Second. The motion is seconded by Mr. Knutson. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. It is unanimous. Dr. Taylor, old business is up next.
As a reminder, at the June business meeting, the board approved the motion for policy EG, risk management and insurance, to remain on the table to provide additional opportunity for constituent feedback. Revisions have been made to improve system practices and/or processes and/or mandates in state and/or federal law. I recommend that the above policy with revisions be adopted.
Board members, do I have a motion regarding the interim superintendent's recommendation?
Motion to approve the proposed revisions to policy EG, risk management and insurance.
I have a motion by Mr. Knutson. Is there a second? The motion is seconded by Ms. Stone. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. It is unanimous. Dr. Taylor?
As a reminder, at the June business meeting, the board also approved the motion for policy IFBG, responsible use of technology and electronic media to remain on the table to provide additional opportunity for constituent feedback. Revisions have been made to improve system practices and/or processes and/or mandates in state and/or federal law. I recommend that the above policy with revisions be adopted.
Board members, do I have a motion regarding the interim superintendent's recommendation?
I make a motion to approve the proposed revisions to policy KBA open records. Wait. Let me do that again. I make a motion to approve the proposed revisions to policy IFBG, responsible use of technology and electronic media.
I have a motion by Ms. Stone. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Knutson. Is there any discussion?
Yes. Can we confirm that this is the policy that prohibits students from using social media on school devices except as directed by school personnel, and that there will be some training involved, including lessons around responsible digital citizenship and safe and appropriate use?
Getting a lot of steps in today.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Ruffenstone. Yes, that is exactly what that is. We have content filtering solutions in place, so it doesn't matter if they're on the device at school or at home. Those content filtering solutions will prevent them from access to those if they're loaded into the solution, as well as the digital citizenship. Now, we did that last year. We just did 2 lessons, so the law now requires 4, so we'll just go 4 instead of the 2 that we've been doing.
Or confirm whether YouTube is included as one of the social media sites?
It is not. We actually use YouTube in the classroom, but it strips out a lot of the advertisements, the version that we have for education. Mm-hmm.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. It is unanimous.
As a reminder, at the June business meeting, the board also approved the motion for policy KBA, open records, to remain on the table to provide additional opportunity for constituent feedback. Revisions have been made to improve system practices and/or processes and/or mandates in state and/or federal law. I recommend that the above policy with revisions be adopted.
Do I have a motion regarding the interim superintendent's recommendation?
I make a motion to approve the proposed revision to policy KBA, open records.
I have a motion by Mr. Gasper. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Mr. Knutson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say no. It is unanimous. Dr. Taylor, new business is up next.
Board members, the Fundamentals of Athletic Training and Sports Medicine instructional resource underwent the same review process with the last round of the pilot and adoption for instructional resources, which was voted and approved back in March. Per board policy, this resource required an extra level of review by the Community Health Education Advisory Committee, or CHEAC. On May 8th, 2025, the committee reviewed and approved this instructional resource. I recommend adoption of this instructional resource to begin in August 2025.
Board members, do I have a motion regarding the interim superintendent's recommendation?
I make a motion to adopt the instructional resource, Fundamentals of Athletic Training and Sports Medicine, to begin in August 2025.
I have a motion by Mr. Knutson. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Mr. Gasper. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed say no. It is unanimous. Next, we will have constituents' comments regarding policy and/or school operations. Jeremy Caballero, please approach the podium closest to you, followed by Valerie Curry. Thank you.
All right, good evening, everybody. I would just like to reference what Ms. Stone talked about earlier when she visited Grayson High School and the weapons detector summer pilot. I was fortunate enough this summer to go to Disney World with my kids, and the same level of weapons detector screening is right there too. The most magical place on earth We all went through it. Nobody thought twice about going through the screening. Kids, babies, men, women, children, they all went through. Their only complaint was it was going to cost like $15 to buy a bottle of water, and it was smoking hot because we went in June. But you get my point. The most magical place on earth, weapons detectors. So I want to start by asking you, just think back to your own school days. What was the biggest worry you might have had? Right? Pop quiz, maybe forgetting your homework. Today's students have a much different set of anxieties. The possibility that they could be shot and killed in school. The recent installation of weapons detectors in our high school and middle school is not a sign of our society's failure. It's a testament to our willingness to adapt and protect what's most precious to us, our kids. It's a bold statement that we're no longer willing to just sit here and hope and pray for the best. We're taking action. You guys took action. We're choosing to be vigilant over vulnerable, and for that, I'm extremely thankful. After all, we have, for a long time, accepted that we'll protect our airports, our sporting stadiums, and our concert venues in the same way. So again, why not our schools? Why should the place where we build our future and our children's future any less secure than Mercedes-Benz Stadium? It's an amazing thing that you all have done, and I am proud and excited for this next school year. I'm thankful for the leadership who made this difficult decision. I'm thankful for the students who will now have a little less to worry about in the hallways, and the teachers who can focus on teaching and not the next catastrophe. These detectors don't just find weapons, they prevent them from ever entering our children's schools. It's like we're installing those signs, no soliciting, all over the schools, everywhere. But these signs don't say that. They say you all have the right and freedom to live. Thank you.
Up next, Valerie Curry, followed by Miranda Martin. Miranda Martin. And following Ms. Martin, we'll have Chelsea Hutchings.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Taylor, it's a pleasure to see you again. Pray it's under better circumstances. I know I've not seen a few of you guys in person. My name is Miranda Martin. I got to be one of the lucky members of the community to be involved in a Gwinnett Title IX issue last year. Why am I here today? Well, because we're still zoned for the same school, and my son will never attend the school where they put their own interests above those of students. Title IX, in learning about it, I feel it's supposed to be used as a way to effectively help families and staff work together to resolve complicated issues. In ours and many other cases, it's used and only complicated matters for families further. I want to look at my phone, see Gwinnett, and have a normal fear reaction like, oh my gosh, he has a fever. Because of the way Title IX was used in our case, and I want to throw my phone out the window every time it says Gwinnett on my phone. It wasn't all about experience. Learning about Title IX, I kind of learned who does and doesn't do the right thing in Gwinnett. So now I know if someone contacts me, where to send them instead of where I was sent. My hope for Gwinnett is a hope the same as it is for everyone else. Title IX and every other title and law being used to help families and staff all communicate better so that we all can work together better for Gwinnett. That's all. Thank you.
Ms. Hutchings, followed by Nico Pera.
Our family has spent the past year and a half fighting to get our son Theo back in his neighborhood school.
This fall, all of our kids will be in the same cluster again. All 3 of our elementary kids will finally be in the same building. That means 1 set of school events, 1 drop-off, 1 community. And that's what every family deserves. However, we are only cautiously optimistic because the system still hasn't changed. The same people are making the same decisions under the same outdated model. Putting Theo in the building and in the room is just the first step. The next step is supporting him so he can be successfully included there. So, as we were planning Theo's year, we asked something simple, that his teachers receive training on Down syndrome and inclusive education by experts, something allowed and encouraged under federal law. We were told no. Instead, the district offered to create something in-house. But how can you train someone on something you don't actually do? GCPS has no in-house experts on inclusive education because they have never prioritized inclusive education yet. Help me understand why the district would refuse to bring in expert training that would improve teacher efficacy and retention and provide more high-quality learning for all GCPS students, whether they have known disabilities or not. Is the issue money? Let's do some math. Our last IEP review took 15 hours over 4 meetings. 10 staff members, from teachers to district representatives, attended, keeping them out of the classrooms of their other students or away from district-level responsibilities for 15 hours. Using a conservative estimate, the district paid that staff around $8,340 for those meetings. At that time, we were arguing in a mostly non-collaborative way for services Theo already had a legal right to receive. Meanwhile, I've spent the last 18 months gathering high-quality resources and free trainings from actual experts at no cost to the district. GCPS prioritizes sorting kids into a program system that actively works against inclusive education. This system is not just outdated, it's inefficient, ineffective, and expensive. It wastes time, energy, and money trying to preserve a broken model. It's like when I ask my kids to clean their room and they do it the way they always do. They shove socks under the bed, call it done, and I have to ask again. They do it halfway, and I have to remind them over and over. In the end, we're all frustrated, and we've wasted double the time. If they would just learn to do it right the first time, it would be faster, easier, and better for everyone. That's what inclusive education is, doing it right the first time. And when we get it right, all kids benefit, not just socially, but academically. I don't care how carefully the special education department continues to polish the image of its outdated programs. I care that they continue harmful practices that hurt students and families and lie about what's actually happening. Thank you.
Nico Para, followed by Missy Purcell. Missy Purcell, you're up.
Good evening. As parents prepare for back to school, some are filled with excitement while shopping for supplies, and others are filled with anxiety, wondering, will my child be lucky this year? Will they get a teacher trained to meet their needs? Will they fall further behind? Our kids shouldn't have to be lucky. It's the district's job to ensure that every student has access to trained teachers, evidence-based instruction, and vetted instructional tools. Which brings me to tonight's agenda item. You just renewed a nearly $4 million contract for iReady. Let's be clear, iReady was not recommended by the state's Literacy Screener Advisory Council, which I served on, that was created by Senate Bill 464. It didn't meet the bar for identifying students with reading difficulties or aligning with our literacy laws. The only reason it was placed back on the approved list, and I'm quoting the state superintendent, was because it was the most widely used screener in the state. Not most effective, not most aligned with the law, just the most used. That's not a good enough reason to spend millions of dollars. What's worse, we've seen how iReady is misused in the district. At Mason Elementary, a child who scored below benchmark on iReady and has a diagnosis of dyslexia was denied intervention by a teacher who said her balanced literacy level was on grade level. Balanced literacy tools like Fontes and Pinnell are not supposed to be used in the district anymore because they're not appropriate measures. Yet they're still being used, and they're trumping the tools that you're spending millions of dollars on. At Camp Creek Elementary, students flagged by iReady are placed into iReady's own intervention called magnetic reading, not ones aligned to Tier 1 instruction or grounded in research. We should be using intensive, evidence-based versions of our Tier 1 core programs for intervention, not switching to unrelated, unvetted, unapproved interventions simply because they are bundled with a license for millions. Even more concerning, when I raised this concern to the district, which I did reach out to before speaking to you, district leaders didn't even know what interventions were being used at each of these schools and were surprised as well. Other districts are doing better. Marietta City Schools, which you've heard me talk about numerous times right here in Georgia, was just highlighted last week in the 74 blog for closing learning gaps across all student groups. They invested in training, effective screeners, coaching, and high-quality instructional materials like Wit and Wisdom, not quick fixes or ineffective tools. If we're serious about literacy, we must stop throwing money at products like iReady that haven't proven effective. We need leadership that says, we're not going to be sold another story so companies can profit off failing our kids. We need leaders that will look to other districts and be humble and curious and see how they have discovered the best way to implement the science of reading because they're getting results. We need to stop reinventing the wheel and wasting our money. Thank you.
I'm told that Nico just walked into the building. Come on up, Nico.
Good evening, Chairwoman and board members. My name is Nico Para, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I was raised in this community and I'm a proud product of Gwinnett County Public Schools. When I was a student, I saw firsthand how language barriers impacted my classmates and their families. As someone who grew up first learning Spanish, I saw how this district responded. ESOL programs, bilingual parent liaisons, and dual language immersion programs. These were big steps, and they showed me that when this district recognizes a problem, it finds solutions rooted in equity and compassion. Now I'm asking you to respond again, this time to fears of immigrant students and families that they are facing due to the threat of immigration enforcement. There are already confirmed ICE raids happening on roads in Gwinnett County, families being pulled over and detained during routine traffic stops, and in this climate, even rumors of ICE near schools or bus routes can cause panic. Some parents will inevitably keep their kids home out of fear, which disrupts attendance and learning. That is why I urge this board to adopt and further renew clear policies that protect students regardless of immigration status. These policies be made widely available to students, parents, media outlets, and to the general public in multiple languages. We need to ensure that faculty are equipped with the best resources to protect their students by any means necessary. Counseling and mental health support should also be widely available for students affected by immigration-related fear or trauma. So look, when I was a student, GCBS helped close the language and academic gap for thousands of us. That support helped me graduate and pursue higher education. Now today we face a different kind of barrier, one rooted in fear. I urge each and every one of you to meet this moment with the same commitment. Let's make sure that no child in Gwinnett has to learn in a classroom where fear is the loudest voice in the room. Thank you.
Thank you all for your comments. Now we will have remarks and comments from our board members.
Thank you, Dr. Chairwoman Simmons. I would like to ask to reserve to go last.
Yeah, I'd like to reserve for no, just kidding. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for being here for a robust work session where we talked about discipline gains that we're making and the absenteeism that's plaguing not just our county but districts all over the country, and some of the things that we're doing to be proactive. The legislature's passed some laws along those lines, and it was heartening and not surprising to me to hear that in terms of some of the requirements the state's making, we've already been implementing a number of those things to help our students and are ahead of the game. So when our staff can stand in front of us, they don't say, here's all the things we have to do to jump through those hoops. They say, we're already at that level, and we'll begin to look at how we can be even better. So that was exciting. I spent some time with one of my principals this week, and he's excited and ready for the new year. I'm excited and ready for the new year. I've had several clusters reach out and ask me to be a part of their cluster meetings and just encourage their staff as they get ready for another year. We're going to hear some data over the next couple of months that I think is going to be positive in terms of where we're headed as a district. And so I am not satisfied. Neither is anyone here that works at GCPS. We're a district of continual improvement. And so even though we'll see things that may be trending in the right direction or positive improvement, nobody's resting on those laurels. They're all every day rolling up their sleeves to do the best job that they can. And so I hope everyone's having a good summer. I was stuck in traffic getting back from Orlando last month, and traffic and weather and various things. And based upon the comment that my chairperson said about me keeping all of our meetings going longer than everyone else, I'm going to keep this short and just say I hope everyone has a good final couple of weeks of the summer, and look forward to being with you next month to discuss other pertinent issues that are important for keeping GPS ahead and doing the best job that we can. So thank you.
Nicely said. Yes, thank you again for all of you here tonight. Thank you to our young speakers, Jasmine, Owen, Lucas, and Theo. It's always great to hear your little voices being represented here in this big, vast boardroom in front of all of us up here. So thank you for continuing to share your message. Thank you to the staff, of course, for all your hard work and time spent creating these reports. And I just want to echo real quick what my colleague, Mr. Knutson, said. We had a great, very detailed, robust work session going over our discipline data as well as our attendance data. And if you didn't get a chance to watch it, I do encourage you going back. I won't reiterate or labor on a whole lot of topics other than, our data in terms of discipline has gone down with regards to the in-school suspensions, out-of-school suspensions. So our data is trending in the right direction. 93.2% approximate of all of our students did not receive a discipline referral. So we're making big strides. When you consider a district of 182,000 students, that's pretty impressive. Very, very happy. I know our parents are in the front row, and his little daughter shared the excitement about the weapons detector systems in our schools. We're happy that we did this, spent $23.1 million of additional money to do that. And again, the safety of our students are of utmost paramount to us as well. I had the privilege this week on Tuesday to attend the new teacher orientation at the Gas South Convention Center, and boy, can I tell you what a room filled of 1,200 plus new teachers, and excitement, and from all different walks of life, from first year teachers to folks fresh out of college, to international folks, to folks coming into the teaching profession from a totally different profession. It was just amazing to see that, and I'm excited to have all of our new teachers start this year. Really, we do a lot of important work up here, and it's not without the community's support and input that we do what we do to get better in what we do. So thank you for all your continued support, and let's enjoy the last couple weeks of summer before we get back to another early start to our school year. So thank you all again.
Thank you to our speakers today, and also thank you to our school system for the presentations that were provided to us today during the working session. I encourage our community to please watch the working sessions, because we did have a robust discussion around iReady, and certainly appreciate our advocacy around Ms. Purcell, who constantly advocates around literacy programming and even holding us accountable as a board related to supporting and ensuring that we are doing the best we can to meet the needs of all of our students. And to that end, the request I made for our school system is to consider a continuous examination around our literacy programs and supports to ensure impact. So I do look forward to some comparative analysis and understanding the overall value of our literacy programs to make sure they are meeting the academic needs of our students. In our working session, we also talked about discipline and absenteeism, and certainly there is a correlation, and some of it is related to some of the comments that Mr. Parra, Nico Parra, mentioned around fear in the community and how there are some societal impacts that certainly are impacting the attendance of our students, and not just attendance, but also the safety. When we talk about safety, it's not just about physical safety, it's also about emotional and social, psychological safety. And some community members do feel grappled with fear because of what is happening in their communities. And I say on behalf of all of our board members, we care about all of our students, and we want all of our students to know that they belong and to know that they are safe. And I just, want to share that is something that is important to us, and we'll continue to do what we can to ensure that they are safe and know that they belong. The other information that was shared today is in our discipline presentation was the disproportionality in discipline, in particular around our Black students. Our Black students represent about 33% of our population, our student population, and however, they're over 50% in some areas of our discipline, and in school suspension, out of school suspension, and in our tribunals. And it's quite concerning, and the question is why. And you always ask, why are our Black students not just in GCPS, but this is actually a national data point around discipline, and there are multiple answers. And I think it requires us to have a multi-pronged approach around addressing the anti-Blackness that is apparent in the data, and unconscious anti-Blackness biases are all part of the experience that our students are receiving. So when we talk about, psychological safety and the trauma that our students are experiencing, that can also come from, being in spaces where they don't feel like they belong and they are not meaningfully engaged. So one of the things that I continue to encourage is for our school system to have facilitation around cultural awareness and understanding the nuances around some of the things that our students are going through. Of course, we know that if a student does something wrong and they have an infraction, it's important for us to be able to provide consequences. So the both and approach is to also make sure that they don't repeat those same behaviors. And when we address not repeating the same behaviors, we do it in a space of dignity, of empathy, and of understanding the societal issues, understanding some of the home challenges they may be having, understand that it's things that they may be experiencing that is now being present in the classroom that may be impacting behavior. We also know that large class sizes can also be a factor around discipline. We also know absenteeism. So there are, again, multiple things that can impact the discipline, but it is important for us to name and continue to focus on eliminating the disproportionality that is present, in particular with our Black students. And the final thing I'd like to close with is a quote from James Baldwin. James Baldwin says, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." So the reality of the experiences of our Black students and ensuring that we do all we can to eliminate anti-Blackness in our school system is important for us to address. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to take time to just thank everyone who came out tonight. Over the past couple of weeks and this morning, actually, I've been able to engage in some discussions around overcrowding. I would say that's probably one of the number one issues and priorities in District 1, specifically around, so District 1, for those of you all who may not know, covers the majority mainly Grayson, Dacula, and Archer clusters. I've also been engaging in discussions around class sizes, curriculum pacing, and this idea of how important it is to invest in early care interventions. I learned a stark statistic over the weekend that 90% of a child's brain is developed at the time that they reach the age of 5. So it's super important for us to invest in those early care, early childhood interventions so that when our students reach our schools, GCPS schools, they are already on pace and don't fall behind. As many of my colleagues have mentioned, today we discussed in our working session discipline and attendance. And one thing I have to applaud the district with is their consistent use of gathering the data. So we have so much data, we know the what. So for example, with discipline, we know that our Black and brown students are disproportionately represented in exclusionary disciplinary practices. So those include ISS, OSS, tribunals. So we know the what, and this is consistent across elementary grade band, middle school, and high school. So we know the what, we are exploring the why, and even when you're looking at what researchers are saying, it's a myriad of factors, so there's a research gap. So I applaud the district for always coming to us with the data, identifying the why, and they took it a step further with attendance. They identified the what, and then they but we discussed the root causes. So one of the things that we're finding in attendance, and when you're looking at chronic absenteeism, is that we are seeing increases in chronic absenteeism in our multilingual population, our Hispanic population, our students with disabilities, and our economically disadvantaged students. And we all know that when students miss class, when they miss instruction, whether that is through in-school, out-of-school suspension, or for whatever other reason, they fall behind. So I'm excited to continue this work. And with attendance, again, I have to applaud the district because they provided some strategies and best practices. I think what's going to be important is that consistent implementation with fidelity. Another thing that I would like to see, and we kind of discussed this with attendance around, or just supporting our students in our GIVE Center. So that's our alternative schools. And one thing I would like to see is more transition plans for those students so that we can mitigate the likelihood that they will reoffend and therefore decrease recidivism. And today, as I close, I am wearing my Team GCPS shirt. And it's one that I wear with pride and deep responsibility. And as I'm thinking about school is about to start, I think APs went back today, and I think teachers go back next week. And I want to remind my colleagues that we are operating under a sense of urgency, and we should be acting with focus, compassion, and most of all with courage. So again, I want to thank everyone for coming out here tonight, and I am so excited to continue this work.
Thank you all for joining us this evening. I was honored to attend our new teacher orientation earlier this week, where we welcomed 1,200 plus new staff members. And one of the messages that I shared with them is the ever important action of caring for self. So as we begin to ramp up on another school year and welcome smiling faces into our schools in August, I encourage each of our staff members to take advantage of the the days that you have remaining, or maybe the hours for some. Some already, it sounds like, came back this week, our assistant principals. But I truly hope that you find some time to engage in some self-care and preparing for the new school year. A quote that we heard this afternoon from Principal Bussey at Decula Middle School is the following: if you can't manage them, you can't teach them. If you can't build relationships, you can't reach them. And so I feel that also speaks to the importance of self-care, and that we have to care for ourselves to build effective relationships with others. So it is truly, truly something that I hope that our staff members prioritize the rest of this year, because it will make a difference in how you build relationships with your students, parents, colleagues, so on and so forth. I do also want to remind and uplift some additional information we received this afternoon, particularly around reporting attendance and excusing absences. I was really excited as a parent to hear that we will be able to report absences utilizing the ParentVUE app. And so I want to encourage our caregivers and families to make sure that you are familiar with the ParentVUE app, that you've downloaded it, because starting this year, you will be able to report your student absences in that app, which is very helpful in that in the past we've had to send letters and notes to the school. Well, now we can do that digitally. I also want to encourage parents to download Parent Square. Caregivers, download Parent Square if you haven't. The district has already begun to send out messages around the beginning of school. You'll likely be hearing from your schools around coming out and registering if you haven't already. So make sure you download that app. And then lastly, I always advocate for participating in your school councils. I believe the schedule's probably up or coming up soon for the schools. It's usually posted to the website before the start of school. Be sure to take note of those dates and get involved. You don't have to be nominated to be a part of the council. You don't have to be nominated to attend the meetings. You can attend the meetings openly. It's an open meeting. You can come and attend. You do have to be nominated to participate, but you can go and attend your school councils. You don't have to be a part of the council itself. So I want to encourage our caregivers to get involved, to get engaged. As we heard this afternoon, parent engagement is essential to attendance. If students are in school, they're not learning. So we want to make sure we're bridging that gap. We're hearing from caregivers. Caregivers are hearing from the school. School councils are an excellent way to bridge that gap and to share information back and forth. Thank you again for joining us this evening. And Dr. Taylor, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, I will be extremely brief. However, I did want to just spend a little time. The next time we'll be together will be actually a couple of weeks into the 2025-26 school year, which starts on August 4th. And I didn't want to miss an opportunity to just thank the myriad of individuals who spend countless hours ensuring that we have a smooth opening. And in reality, that work really doesn't stop when the school year ends. It's really a continuous process. So I definitely wanted to make sure, just send just heartfelt appreciation for those who make sure that our schools are ready to receive our 180,000 plus students. Finally, I did want to also just spend a moment. I spent the last couple of months talking about a focus on stabilizing the district and really focusing on calming waters and ensuring that we were going to be okay. I knew that from the first day. That work is really important, and I think that work continues. However, I don't want it to be conflated when we're saying that we're focusing on stabilizing the district. We don't want you to conflate that, meaning that we are accepting stagnation. That's just not the Gwinnett way. And I definitely want to appreciate the board through your questions, through your prodding, through your text messages, through your phone calls, through the additional text messages and phone calls that you're continuing to push just to make sure that we're not in a space of comfortability that leads to stagnation, that ultimately leads to regression. We don't want that for the district. And so that requires sometimes we're in a space where tough decisions have to be made. And, we've had to make some cuts. We've had to have some difficult conversations about reprioritizing resource allocation and really looking in the mirror and challenging some of our norms and beliefs. But I think in the end, the result becomes that we continue to push that standard of excellence that Gwinnett has been built on. And so really appreciative of the board for your work in that and continuing to ensure that we're not stagnating. Appreciate the receptiveness from staff to accept the challenges, not from a defensive posture, but from a posture of appreciation and a willingness to also join in that work of continuing to move us forward. And I get excited about the start of school, but I'm extra excited about the start of this year, and I know it's going to be a great year. So thank you all for your support and for being here tonight.
Again, thank you for attending tonight's board meeting. The board, interim superintendent Dr. Taylor, and I appreciate your attendance and interest in Gwinnett County Public Schools. As our public meeting has concluded, this facility will be closing in 20 minutes. Thank you for being with us tonight and drive home safely. This meeting is adjourned.